Hi, everybody, and welcome. My name is Arye, and I'm a Customer Success Manager here at Atera, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. So a brief overview of the agenda for what we're going to go through today. We're going to start with a short introduction into the history of Atera, where we started, where we're going. After that, we will head into the platform, and I'll show you guys the basic configuration for PSA and for billing. So we'll go through the ticketing. We'll create a billing batch, see an invoice, all those kinds of wonderful things. We'll have a short Q&A after the PSA, and then we will head on into the RMM, and I will show you all of our RMM capabilities. We'll take a look at some reports. We will go through everything that there is to go through over there, and we'll have a Q&A for that as well. If you guys have questions as we go along, feel free to just chat them into the chat or the Q&A, and I'll do my best to answer live as we go. If not, I will get to them during the Q&As. Okay, why isn't this moving? There we go. So Atera began back in 2011. The purpose of Atera was to be a real single pane view, single code-based RMM and PSA solution for IT professionals. We launched a production in 2015, and we have been growing ever since. We most recently released a dedicated IT platform, as opposed to the MSP platform, which is the walkthrough that we will be doing today. So if you're interested in that, we have a separate webinar that we do now for the IT platform. This is relevant for IT departments as well, but the choice is yours. We have over 11,000 users across the world in over 100 countries, and we service you guys from our offices in New York, the Netherlands, Romania, and Australia. Why Australia? Tel Aviv. I saw Australia on the slideshow, and that was a brain thing. We have hundreds of reviews that you can see on places like G2 Crowd, Capterra, MSP Comparison, and many more places. The other interesting thing for you to note is that we're constantly releasing new versions to production every 2 weeks. And most of the features that you see being released are features that come by request from our community. We are a very community-driven company, and we really like that. So if you guys have any suggestions or ideas, be sure to let us know via the feature board, and I will show you where that is located in the platform. The last thing I am going to do is I'm going to shamelessly plug our other webinars that we have. We have in-depth RMM and PSA training available, hour-long webinars each, as well as advanced webinars for key features, for example, network discovery, patching, ticketing, and billing. Each have their own 20, 30-minute webinars. You can see all of that at atera.com/webinars. Sign up to live ones or watch previously recorded ones at your convenience. All right, that is all said and done. Let us head over into the platform. So if you guys are currently trialing Atera, or if you're brand new, welcome to the Atera dashboard. This is the homepage for everything Atera. From here, you can see everything that's going on within your organization. You have your ticket counts at the top of the page. You have your alerts that are being triggered by our threshold profiles. And then the rest of the page is obviously built up of widgets. All of these widgets can be changed based on your preferences. So if you're more interested in seeing RMM or more interested in seeing PSA options, you can just toggle those items on and off. You can also reorganize the list based on your preferences. Just don't forget to save that for the changes to take effect. We have, of course, well, I should say, maybe presented differently. The whole system essentially works around our CRM. The first thing you want to do is, of course, make sure you have that set up. We're not going to go through the steps of creating a customer. I think that's a little bit too basic, and most of you should know how to. I mean, it's a very simple, intuitive process. There's nothing to it. Just click on add a new customer and fill in the information, and the customer has been created. But I will go through one of our customers just to show you all of the information that you can see over here. At the top, you have, of course, all of the tabs of the different areas for the customer. So we have a breakdown of our contacts. The contacts that have an asterisk next to them just means that they're marked off as your main contact. They have full transparency over everything going on within their organization in terms of tickets with you guys in the customer portal or in the help desk shortcut, which they have access to. If they don't have the asterisks, then they will only see their own tickets that they have opened with you one-on-one. Under the contracts tab, you'll of course have a breakdown of all the contracts that have been created with for this specific customer. The default is going to be your retainer or a flat fee. contract. It's a reoccurring contract. You can bill that monthly, but then you can also create your own for block hours, block money, one-time projects, services. All of those contracts will be created by you guys and deployed as necessary. The devices that have been installed for this customer for monitoring will show up under the devices tab. We can literally monitor almost any device that you can think of. A full breakdown is available right over here. SNMP devices, TCP devices, websites, and generic devices can all be monitored by Atera agents. We have two native Atera agents at the moment, Windows and Mac. We're currently developing our Linux agent. It will be available for production at the end of this quarter if everything goes as planned. During the installment process, which I will show you guys during the RMM, I will show you how all that works and how you can set it up. A breakdown of the tickets that have been opened by this customer for everyone within their organization. You can, of course, filter it out as necessary. The alerts tab will show you all of the alerts that are triggered. This usually takes an extra minute to load as we're currently running the threshold profiles, making sure that the alerts are, in fact, up to date. We have a password manager. Where you can store your passwords securely. This is available on the customer, the contact, and the device level, so you can get pretty granular with that. Any important attachments, warranties, tax exemption forms, all of that can be stored under your attachments. And then for those of you that are going to be using Atera's billing, you have a breakdown of the invoices that you have generated for your customers. You can upload a logo to help you find your customers faster on all the other pages. You have domain options. You can, of course, store many. There's no limit to how many domains you can store for them for these customers. That way, whenever a ticket is opened by one of your end users emailing your support email address, the ticket is then going to be categorized properly to the correct organization based on their domain. If a contact from this domain emails you and you don't have them you don't have them already in your system, you can automatically create contacts that way as well. And then, of course, the site address. We only have one address per customer, per site. So if your customer does have multiple sites, we do encourage you to create multiple customers, one for each site. That way, the information can be accurately reflected. Let's move over to our tickets. Now, a lot of okay, I see something came in. We're able to hide customers from certain users in our company. Some users shouldn't be able to see all customers. Yeah, I will actually get into that in the roles and restrictions. We do have that capability. I believe that's what you're asking, and I will show you how that is done. So the tickets. Now, for some MSPs or for some IT professionals, tickets are just ways of, it's a work call. It's something is broken and needs to be fixed. Atera comes at tickets with a different mindset. We think that our tickets can be more than just pure communication. It could be a task manager. It could be event reminders. It's everything to keep your day running smoothly. Everything can be done here in tickets. You can schedule tickets, as I said. So this could be a reminder to check in with a customer, a meeting that you have, an on-site visit or phone call, things like that. You can schedule your tickets and then they show up at the time that they are set to do. Let's go ahead and create a new ticket together. You can just click on New Ticket at the top right-hand side. The first thing you want to do is you want to select the customer that this ticket will be associated with. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go open this for 4Dogs. Then it takes a moment to load all of the contacts for let's go, why aren't you loading? There we go. All of the contacts that I have within this customer, contacts are mandatory. So let's go ahead and do I have myself here? I don't have myself here. Let's go open it for Lynn. The contract we're going to leave as the default contract, but I can select any of the other ones that I have available over here. We're going to give the ticket a title and we're going to say printer problem. Okay, I spelled that correctly. I'm so happy. The rest of the fields are not mandatory, so I'm not going to fill them in, but I will make a note that some of these fields, for example, ticket impact, ticket type, ticket type and product family are custom fields. You can create your own custom statuses, custom fields for tickets. You can make them mandatory if necessary and have your users fill them out as they open tickets with you, helping you keep your tickets organized. They can be used then for filtering. They can be used for pulling reports. All of that is definitely flexible and valuable to you guys. We're going to give our ticket some content and say printer is making funny sounds. There you go. That's more like my typing. Typos, hitting mistakes, all that kind of stuff. That's how I type. I do apologize. Any important files to attach, you can just select it over here under choose files. And as I mentioned, schedule tickets. Select your frequency if it's a one-time ticket or if it's a reoccurring ticket. You can set that up over here. Choose to include the ticket creation time. That way you have a more accurate billing if this is what your contracts are set up to include. Once you're ready, go ahead and click on add. There you go. The ticket has now been added to the top of our queue. Let's go ahead and let's go into the ticket. Actually, no, before we go into the ticket, I want to point out you will have your SLA information that is attached to your contracts. So here you can see that I have 18 hours left to respond to this ticket or to resolve this ticket, depending on what the SLA is defining. The assigned technician is going to be me in this case as I open the ticket. We do have ticket automation rules that you can set up to automatically assign tickets to specific technicians based on different criteria that you can set up. We have our activity status. In this case, it's red as it's a manually open ticket. There's 7 different ways that tickets can be opened, or 7 different areas that tickets can be generated. If they are automatically created tickets, then they will be unread until they are open. Those include emails to your support address, chats that you can enable for your customers if you're on our growth or power tiers. You have alerts that can generate tickets. You have the customer portal or the help desk that can create tickets. And then, of course, you can manually create a ticket from the customer page, from the contact, and from the device itself. Those are different ways that you can have those tickets. You have ticket statuses as well. You can also have custom statuses over here. So, for example, on hold, waiting for third-party response, all of that can be created and used as necessary. We're really flexible with the abilities that you have, really allowing you to set yourselves up as you would like to. So the first thing I'm going to point out is, of course, at the top of the page, we have a ticket timer, which starts automatically when you enter the ticket, keeping track of your work. If you prefer to do that manual, you could just set that setting in the admin section. I will point that out towards the end of PSA. At the top left-hand side, we have the assigned technician. In this case, it's me. We have a device associated with the customer that we open the ticket for. So if I click on it, I have the option to go to the agent or to reassign the agent in question. The contract is, of course, the on-demand hourly, which is my default. I can change that to anything else that I need from here as well. We have internal notes or public reply options for our ticketing system. Of course, internal notes will remain in-house, and public replies will send an email over to the person who opened the ticket. You can add a time entry as simply as clicking on add time entry. So let's say we went on site, fixed or replaced printer. Let's say I couldn't fix it, so I just replaced it. I'm going to go ahead and add that. Before you do, if the time entry is billable, just make sure that it's selected. Otherwise, it won't show up in the billing batch. Click on add. Some other actions, of course, merge and delete. You can start a chat, as I mentioned. We have a calendar integration, Office 365 or Google Calendar. You can schedule events. You can see upcoming events directly from the ticket. You don't have to go anywhere once that integration is set up. It's really cool. You can also add products and expenses. You can create a products and expense list from the admin section. So let's say we couldn't fix that printer, so we went ahead and replaced it. I'm going to go add that now to this ticket. That way I can bill for it when the time comes. Here we go. The brother printer has been added. I can add a note if necessary, or attach a file or a photo if necessary. For this case, going to go ahead and add. There we go. It is now on our ticket. We're going to close this. Right below that, we have a tag over here. Just if you would note, we did not actually tag our ticket. In fact, instead, what we do is we have my tongue is not working properly today. Instead of manually tagging tickets, Atera has a feature called the AI auto ticket tagging rule, or without the rule, it's AI auto ticket tagging. Essentially, we can tag your tickets automatically for you. You can also manually tag if you prefer. So just go ahead and select from the dropdown. Free text as well. all these different ways that you can tag your tickets. This, of course, makes it easy and convenient to filter out, to find the tickets associated with certain issues. You can pull reports based on these tags. You have a lot of automations that you can do based on tags as well. You can disable this feature if you prefer. It will continue to run in the background. So at any point, should you choose to re-enable it, all of those tags will reappear. The difference, of course, between the AI auto tag purple with a little lightning bolt versus the manually added ones are going to be blue. And you can also remove them from here as necessary. Okay, off to the right-hand side, we have our SLA information. The requester, again, whoever opened this ticket or we open this ticket for them. If their device was online, we'd be able to connect, as their device is probably offline, which is why this is grayed out. The calendar events, as I said, if you have the integration set up, you will see up to 2 events going forward or schedule an event directly from here. Any historical tickets opened with this customer will show up below that. And then you have, of course, the ticket properties, which you can play around with as necessary. So let's go ahead and resolve this ticket as we have replaced the printer. We couldn't fix it, but the issue is no longer something. So we're going to go ahead and update this. All right, just takes a moment for it to update. All right, notice how it now disappeared from the top of our queue. And the reason why it disappeared from our queue is because of my filters. So I am the type of person that I don't like clutter on my desk. I want only things that are absolutely relevant to me specifically to be visible to me. So as that is the case, I only have my open and pending tickets on my workstation. I don't want to see tickets that are resolved or closed. I can go ahead and add that if I want to. There you go. See how the ticket has now reappeared. But I'm going to leave that removed. I can filter out in a multitude of different ways, including based on specific customers, when tickets are due, based on products. All of these different things can be used, as well as custom fields over here at the bottom. Once I have a filter set up that I'd like, I can go ahead and save that as a view. Just go ahead and click on Save as a New View, and we'll call it Webinar Test. Go ahead and save. And then it's going to be available from the drop down at the top. So here you go. I have a pilot test. I have a webinar test. I have all these different types of views that I can set. If you're an admin for an account, you can set up views for each of your technicians. That way you can keep an eye on each technician's workload without having to ask them what's going on. But the views are specific to technicians. So something that you create on your account won't necessarily be available for one of the other technicians that you may have working with you. Okay, we have some, so we have the select all or the bulk action items over here at the top. There's an endless scrolling. Okay, so that pretty much covers everything on the tickets page. All right, so now that we have a ticket that we have resolved, we know that it's available for billing. But let's say it's the end of the month, you're not quite sure exactly how much you have available for billing. Let's go ahead and check out our reports, letting us know how much we can expect or what needs to be done. So all of the PSA related reports are going to be over here, or I should say all the financial related reports are going to be over here. Some of the more PSA ones can be over here at the top. So we have our ticket load analysis is going to show us who's working and how much, which SLAs are being heavily used, and our recent processors report. I will just point out that the recent processors report is the only report that cannot be exported from Atera. Every other report can be. So let's go ahead and take a look at our timesheet report. The timesheet report is probably the biggest or the most popular used report in terms of PSA. It's what gives you the biggest or the, I don't know why I keep saying biggest. It's the report that gives you the most overview of all of the tickets going on within your Atera organization. You can, of course, select where you'd like to filter by, the selected time period. I like to bill once a month, so I'm going to keep this at 30 days. I'm not going to filter out by specific technicians, but I will pull this up for the customer that we were working on, which was 4Dogs Coding. Once I select my customer, I can, of course, select the specific contract that I would like to pull this report for. I'm going to go ahead and leave that for everyone. I can choose what information I'd like to include in the report as opposed to just the contracts or just the tickets that I should say. I can include the ticket rates and amounts if I want, or not include it if I don't want to. Including all tickets means that you will include tickets that are open and pending and not necessarily ready for billing. If I don't have that selected, then we will only show you, of course, your resolved or closed tickets that haven't been billed yet, or that still exist in the system. Ticket rounding, if you're of course rounding up to the nearest 15, 30, or 60 minutes. And of course, any custom fields can be included as well. I'm going to go ahead, round that up, and include my ticket rates and amounts. Before I generate this, I will just point out that you can schedule reports. That way you don't have to manually do this every month. The name of the game at Atera is saving you time, effort, and automations. So go ahead and schedule your reports. See that I have this running every Monday at 12, every Wednesday, and every Friday, just to keep an eye on different things. You can, of course, set that up for yourselves as you would. Just click on schedule to set up the scheduler and who you would like to notify when that is ready. Go ahead and click on generate, and the report generates. As I mentioned, reports can be exported. So over here, you can see that you can export as an Excel or as a PDF. Select the option that you prefer. Some of our reports are going to be exclusively Excel, and some of our reports are going to be exclusively PDFs. It really depends on the type of information and whether the report is a more graphical one. So if you have pie charts or graphs, that's probably going to be more PDF. But all of our other reports are going to be either or both. So here's a breakdown of all the tickets that I have open for this customer. There's a total of 5 tickets, 9 time entries, the total amount of time worked, and the total amount of money I can expect to make from all of these different things. The last ticket that we opened just now together is going to be at the very bottom of the report, of course. Nope, I'm sorry. This is the last ticket that we opened together. I'm wondering why this is showing up at the bottom as opposed to this one. Interesting. Unless somebody opened that up just now. Nope. Okay, I'm not sure why the order is reversed over here. All right, I'm not gonna focus on that right now. I'll just bring this up with the product team, see what I might be missing. Here's the ticket that we opened together. You can see its ticket iteration number, the assigned customer, who the contact was that we opened the ticket for, the contract for that ticket, the technician that worked on this ticket, in this case was me. You can see that the problem, they apparently have a lot of printer problems. This is usually our go-to example when we do these walkthroughs. When the ticket was open, and of course, if it is resolved, if it is billable, and if it has been invoiced or not. You can see the amount of money associated with that ticket is going to be, it's a $200 labor charge, and the amount over here that's added is going to be for the printer. The time entry that we added together is right over here. We went on site and replaced a printer, so you can see all of that information. I can choose to, again, as I said, not show that, so I'm going to regenerate this, and you'll have a little bit less information to see over here. Just the invoice, taxable, or hours, but no money information. Let's head over to the billing section now that we know that we have money that we're able to bill for, and we're going to go ahead and create a new invoice batch. So what this does is it runs through Atera. It checks all of your contracts to see which of your contracts have not been added into a batch yet or don't have invoices created for them. And here's a breakdown of all of the contracts that I have across all of my different customers. Over at the top, we have our 4 dogs coding. So we're going to go ahead and select that to add it into the batch. The batch details showing up over here as what's going to be added. We're going to save it by giving it a name, and we're going to call this 4 dogs August. We're still in August, right? Today's the 31st, August 2022. So we encourage you to use a syntax that's easy to remember and easy to replicate, but that will also help you, if anything should happen down the road, it will help you get back to finding the source of the ticket. So I usually tend to save my batches as the customer name. I do it specifically per customer, the month that I'm billing them in, and the year that I'm in. Go ahead and select run. Okay, here is our contract that we're going to be billing for. All of the other tickets that we saw in the timesheet report already exist in a different batch. That is why there's only one contract showing up over here for billing. If I had multiple contracts, then I would have multiple lines. Each contract will create its own invoice. So to avoid bombarding the customer with multiple invoices, I can, of course, just select one invoice per customer. Select the level of information that I want to share. If it's contract and ticket, contract, ticket, and time entry information, and go ahead and generate. The invoice has been generated. I can check it out before I send it anywhere just by clicking on edit. Okay. At the top left-hand side, you can, of course, have your own company logo. Atera enables white labeling, so you can go ahead and change that in the admin settings. You can see here that this is an invoice draft, as we haven't sent it anywhere or done anything with it. We have the ticket that was generated for the printer problem. It was a labor ticket, and the product that we added. Both of these are available over here, which brings, excuse me, our total to $600. I can save this for later use. I can email it directly from here. I can also create a PDF or print it. And for those of you on Growth and Power, we of course have an integration with some financial softwares, billing softwares. QuickBooks and Xero are the two softwares that we have an integration with. For everyone else, we have a general CSV that you can export and use with the software of your choice. There you go. You can see it has downloaded to my device. Once we have generated that, or exported, I should say, that invoice, then the status will, of course, change from draft to exported. A couple of the other statuses we have is sent, paid, and God forbid, refunded. Let's take a look at our admin section just a little bit. Over here, you will have your general settings for Atera. As I mentioned, creating more SLAs. This is where you can create all of them, create your contracts for your customers, play around with the existing ones. All of that is available to you over here. Your business hours, it's really important to set up your business hours. That way your SLAs will work properly and reflect your hours for work. That way you can also have a higher level of service outside of business hours, many different ways that you can increase your bottom line. Custom fields, as I mentioned, we have them. We have custom fields options across different areas of the platform, so definitely put that to use. Your ticket automation rules can be set up over here. This is for things like automatic replies, your ticket creation, or sorry, your technician notifications, your time-based automations, which we're going to be releasing really soon. All of that is available under your automation rules, and then all of the financial settings that you want to set up available over here. This is where you have your email settings. So creating your support email address is the forwarding rules will go to over here. You can add multiple support email addresses depending on the tier that you go ahead and purchase with, as well as SMTP settings. You can customize that over here. The customer portal, this is what, of course, how your customers will get in touch with you, if not via email. They have access to the customer portal if you provide them the URL, or via the help desk shortcut, which is available for PCs as a disk tray icon, or the Control F12 hotkey to access that. That's also a shortcut that is available to them. Excuse me. All I got to do is just click on Add Ticket, and the ticket setup process is pretty much the same. They also have access to a knowledge base, should you offer that for them. That way they can take care of small issues by themselves without having to trouble you for anything minor. As I mentioned, white labeling, you can set that up over here. And Atera's API is available for you guys for setting up other integrations that we don't natively offer. That pretty much concludes the PSA side of things. So if you guys have any questions about contracts, tickets, billing, I'll be more than happy to answer that. I don't see anything coming in specifically for PSA. But while I'm waiting to see if anybody has any other questions, Dirk had a question about are we able to hide customers? So you have the ability to create roles, as you can see over here under General. You can create roles for your tier 1, tier 2, or specific customers. If they have an on-site IT department, for example, you can create a role for them. You will then assign this role to one of your licenses, which is assigned to that specific customer. So you can restrict what they're able to do, first of all, within the roles and restrictions. And then you can also assign a customer to a specific role. That way they only have visibility for that specific customer information. You can keep your sensitive information out of sight for people that is less relevant to, something that a lot of our customers do. So you can set that up as you would like. Okay, I don't see anything coming in for PSA specifically, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the RMM. So the first thing, of course, that you want to do for RMM to make sure that everything works is going to be installing an agent. That's pretty much the first step. There's a couple of different ways that you can install an agent. I'm just going to go ahead and do the most obvious one by clicking on Install an Agent. You select your operating system of choice, Windows or Mac. As I mentioned, we have a Linux agent in development right now. It is going to be released by the end of the quarter. So select your operating system of choice, Mac or Windows, and go ahead and click on Next. Select the customer that you're going to be installing this for. This is not mandatory. If you don't want to, you can just leave this as unassigned, and then it will be in the unassigned folder. Then you can reassign the agent as necessary later on. I'm going to go ahead and actually leave that as unassigned. Go ahead and click on Next. If you're on site, if you're accessing the device, if you're remoting into the device, you go ahead and click on download, and the MSI file downloads to the device in question. You can, of course, install Atera agents using command prompt, and you have the option to share a click to download link via email or any other form of communication that you prefer. Atera also supports GPO, so you can have this sitting on a domain controller and automatically push out to every device that connects to that network. Once the device has been added or installed by following the wizarding steps, it will then appear in your device's console. So let's go ahead and take a look at our device's console. These are the devices that I have in my Atera system, of course. These are specifically my online devices, as I am filtering out based on online devices. Here we go. See, my availability is online. If I go ahead and remove that, then I will see a breakdown of all of my devices that exist within Atera across all of my customers. Speaking of filters, before we go into the Atera agent itself, you can get really granular with how you filter, with what you like to filter by using our custom fields, custom fields and advanced filters. I mixed that up. By using our advanced filters, go ahead and select what you would like to filter by. You can go anything from the device type, name, hardware information, network information, available patches, patch class, software, storage. You can get really granular with how you would like to set up your filters. Once you have all of that set up, you can, of course, save those filters as a view. Once you select a specific device type, let's say, for example, I'm going to go ahead and select my PCs. I can then also filter out based on the custom fields that I have created for those devices. So back to what we were saying about our online devices, as I want to show you guys an Atera agent. So first and foremost, we're going to go into a device that's online. Okay, let's remove. Why is this not clicking? There we go. Right. So, all right, let's start with the Atera agent. Let's head over into one of my online servers, and we'll work our way out backwards. So this is the Atera agent. This is what's being installed across all of the devices within your organization. Remember, as I said, there's different types of devices that you can monitor. There's almost no limit to the type of devices that you can monitor. Again, SNMP devices, TCP devices, websites, and any device that has an IP address can be monitored by an Atera agent. We can, of course, natively install on workstations and servers. Everything else can be monitored by as an SNMP device. So we have our device name, of course, at the top. The current status is online. I can remote into the device just by clicking on Connect. Our default RMM tool of choice for all 3 tiers of Atera subscriptions is Splashtop. We have AnyDesk available as a redundancy for our growth and our power tier users. We also have an integration with TeamViewer and Screen Connect. So if you have a license for them, you feel free to bring that over for you. Atera does not supply a license for these 2. We only have the Splashtop and AnyDesk available to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and connect with Splashtop, as I know that it is installed on this device. Just by clicking on that connect button, essentially this will pop up, and in a matter of moments, I will be able to remote into the device. And we're in, simple as that. There's a little pop-up notifying the end user that I have accessed their computer. That way they're not scared if something all of a sudden changes. You can select which one of these options to have as a default under the admin settings. By default, the Splashtop RMM remote capability is unattended access. And AnyDesk has the option to set it up as attended or unattended, depending on the contracts that you guys have with your end users. Under manage, you have your basic management options that you can do for this device. So you have access to the service and task manager, software inventory, patch management, event viewer, user activity. All of this is available. Command prompt and PowerShell for your PCs, terminal for your Macs. You can run a script, transfer files, play around with registry keys, shut down, and then activate or deactivate the help desk agent. That can also be an upsell opportunity to have that option for them. You can also install Webroot, Bitdefender, Acronis, all that can be deployed directly from the device as well. For those of you that are going to be using our third-party integrations. You can reassign an Atera agent to a different customer. You have your password manager, as I mentioned. We have this on the device level as well. And all of the devices that are being monitored by this Atera agent will be under monitored devices. This is where your SNMP devices, your TCP devices, and your websites will live when they're being monitored by an Atera agent. Do apologize for that cough. Any alerts that have been triggered for this device by your threshold profiles will be over here at the top. I don't have any alerts, but I do have available patches. I can check out those patches by clicking on the patch icon. This will take a second to load again as we're checking to make sure that these patches are up to date. I can deploy from here just by clicking on select all and install, or just one at a time, whatever I prefer. The information being pulled from the device live, of course, or last updated every couple of minutes. You have a breakdown over here. I will just point out that availability monitoring is something that we have for all of our devices. It is by default enabled for servers and for SNMP devices, and by default it is disabled for workstations, as the last thing you want is to be bombarded with alerts every time somebody shuts down their laptop. You can change that just by clicking on the edit, enable or disable, depending on your preferences. You can see historical metrics for this device. By default, we show you the last 24 hours, but you can see up to a month back. That way, checking to see if an alert that is triggered is a reoccurring problem or if it's a brand new one. So you can see all of that. And then, of course, hardware and software information being pulled by the Atera agent. You have a breakdown of your OS, your software information, your security information. As I mentioned, custom fields, create these to help you keep track and monitor things that aren't being natively monitored by Atera. For example, our work from home add-on. This enables your customers to remote into their own devices should they be locked out or stuck on the road, or something happens and they can't get to the office. You can enable them, for example, Corona. You can enable this feature for them and then keep track of who that's enabled for or disabled for using custom fields. Hardware information that is being pulled from the device, we're constantly adding in and updating the information that is being pulled. For example, BIOS information was just released a few weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, in our last release. We actually added what we call the 3Bs. We actually now can monitor BIOS information, battery information for laptops, and BitLocker for your devices. So you have that option under your disks. So here you can see, of course, your usage, available memory, and all of that wonderful hardware stuff. Any alerts that are generated for this device will show up under the alerts. And that brings us to the main key component of the Atera agents, or how the Atera organization is set up to work for you guys, and that is the profiles. There are two main profiles within the Atera platform. You have your threshold profiles and you have your IT automation profiles. The threshold profiles are the profiles that monitor and manage your devices, letting you know, triggering alerts every time some threshold has been met in a positive or in a negative way. The IT automation profile is the profile that will automate your day, that will automate your task management, that will automate your patch management, that will essentially free up your day to take care of the things that you like to do, which is not turning devices off and back on again. Rather, the big picture items, infrastructure, setting up environments, all of the fun, cool, nifty things that you can do as IT professionals. So here you can see, of course, the assigned threshold profiles. There's only one threshold profile that can be assigned per device, but there is no limit to how many automation profiles can be assigned to your devices. So let's go ahead and take a look at those profiles. If we head over to admin, under the monitoring section is where we will be for the next few minutes. So let's go ahead and take a look at our threshold profiles. All of the threshold profiles that I have created, you want to create multiple different ones. You want to have threshold profiles for your different types of devices, your different sensitivity levels of service that you can offer for customers. You can have your generic PC or Mac threshold profile that you offer for a simple level of service, or get really specific and granular for your high level of service, and then of course priced accordingly. Create new ones just by clicking on Add Profile, or you have the default profile pre-built for you. The default profile is actually automatically attached to every single Atera agent that is installed. That way, as soon as an Atera agent has been installed on a device, you're already monitoring, already receiving feedback, already doing your jobs as MSPs and IT professionals, keeping up with the devices as they're added. We have some presets if you don't know what you would like to monitor, or if you're new to this, or you just want to have a quick setup. Just by clicking on Set, you can change the presets for PCs, for Macs, for laptops, as well as for servers. There's, of course, more specific items for that, as we want to cover more options when we monitor our servers. All of these items can be changed just by clicking on the little edit icon. You can also remove some of our presets by clicking on the little trash can. Anything that doesn't come in our preset, you can add yourselves just by clicking on a new item. So here we go. We have some software presets available to be added, as well as custom alerts that can be set up from a number of different areas. For example, disk alerts from smarts. This is very popular to receive alerts for that. We have service state. So if a service goes down, or if a software goes down, you want to be notified that that has happened. If a firewall is no longer active, really you can get pretty granular with the type of alerts that you can set up. We have event monitoring. So if you have something that is creating a Windows event or a Windows log, you can capture those events and create alerts that way as well. We have 3 alert severities: information, warning, and critical. We offer external notifications, or push notifications, or email notifications for warning and critical alerts. We don't offer that for informational alerts. That'll just generate a lot of traffic and overload your servers as well as our servers. So we don't offer that. But you can, there's a little workaround if you're interested in the information, and I will show you that in just a minute. Set the percentage, the time period for that threshold to be met before the alert is triggered. And then the last thing that I'm going to point out, of course, is the scripts that you can add. So we believe in automation. We believe in simplifying your day. So definitely add scripts to auto heal reoccurring small tasks. For example, if bandwidth usage, or if a software service goes down, you can add a script to try to re-enable or restart that service. That way the alert is triggered, the script runs automatically for you, resolving that ticket. You don't have anything to worry about. You can create your own scripts just by clicking on Create Script, or we have a shared script library with over 700 scripts that you guys can find and use to your benefits just by, let's say, searching for, let's say if I have something for service, delete temporary files. There's actually quite, so let's say, restart ConnectWise. So if you want to restart ConnectWise, or if you want to restart the Windows Update service, you can just go ahead and clone that. It is added to your scripts. It's going to change from 109 to 110. Then find it over here, click on Select, and then it will automatically trigger when the alert is triggered. Go ahead and add that. There you go. It has now been added to our presets, to our threshold items. The profile details, of course, the name, whether or not it is active. You can deactivate threshold profiles as necessary, when it was last created and when it was last modified. Go ahead and click on Save to save your changes. You can also see who it's applied to, as this is my default profile. It is applied to most of my customers. You can see a couple of pages of customers. We have folders that you can group items by, and then you can assign your profiles based on that as well. So we head back to admin. Let's take a look at our alert settings really quickly. There's not a lot of them. Let's go. Here we go. As I mentioned, that we have email alerts that you can set up, or push notifications from the mobile app. Just add in an email address that where you'd like to be notified, and which alert you would like to be notified for, a warning or critical. Remember, I said that we don't have this for information, for informational alerts, but you can set up resolved. And if you have a script attached to an informational alert, you will receive a notification that the alert has been resolved. So that is a certain kind of a way that you can be notified that there was an alert triggered in the first place, if you're not accessing your alerts directly from the platform. You can apply this to all of your existing customers, save or turn off this feature if you prefer. You can play a sound letting you know that there's a new alert has been generated within the platform, and we have automatic ticket creation, as I mentioned. Whoops. My seat just dropped a little bit. You have automatic ticket creation, which can be set up for specific customers. Again, this is another way that you can increase your bottom line by having or by offering a higher level of service for your customers. If we take a look at the alerts themselves, so if we head over to the alerts page, here you can see all of the alerts that have been triggered for my within my organization. I can filter out based on different categories. So for example, specific customers or alert severities. If I want to see all of my critical alerts, I can go ahead and do that, and then of course save this as a view as well. This is actually the computer that I'm running this webinar off of. It's something that I need to take care of. It seems to be overheating a lot. Here you go, CPU temperature alert. You can see the type of device, when it was created, the alert severity, the category. We have a number of different categories, from hardware, general performance, availability, network. These are alerts that are being generated by our network discovery feature. I can automatically create a ticket or manually create a ticket as necessary, as well as see more information about the alert. I can manage the device as well from here. Remember that as this is a Mac, I have access to terminal. I can also, there's no add-ons available for my Macs. Yeah. Let's see, this should be a Windows device. Let's see what I have over here. Yeah, WebRoot, Bitdefender, Malwarebytes, Acronis. These are some of our third-party options that are available for your devices as well from the device page. Let's head back to the admin section, and we'll take a look at our patch management and IT automation profiles. I see something came in from Dirk. Password Manager will encourage your customers to use MFA to implement modern. Does the Atera Password Manager have save TOTP keys? It's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. You can, first of all, just as a general FYI, you guys have access to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week live chat with our technical team. No bots. You just essentially start a live chat with less than a minute. A live human being answers your question. So for any technical question, you always have that option. I'm not sure the specific limitations for the password manager. I can look that up, but asking the live chat will probably get you a reply a little bit faster than me finishing the webinar, going to look it up and letting you know. But if you prefer, I can do that and of course let you know as well, Dirk. So whichever way you prefer. Is asking if we can turn on BitLocker as well as pull the key after it has been completed. Did not see where that was visible when you showed that part. I don't think we have the option at the moment. Maybe that's something that we're going to have in a future release. I do know that once BitLocker has been turned on, you will have that information. I don't know if you have the ability to turn it on directly from the device. Something that is worthy to, not worthy, that's the wrong word to use, something that I need to look into, educate myself a little bit more about, and then I'll be able to answer that a little bit better. All right, so patch management and IT automation profiles. Same as the threshold profiles, there's no limit to how many profiles you can create. The only difference here, or the key difference here, is that there is no limit to how many profiles you can assign to devices. At the bottom left-hand side, we'll have our global exclusions. So if you have a patch that you would like to exclude, you can go ahead and select that from Atera's available patches. And at the bottom right, we have the automation retries. So if a device is offline when the profile is scheduled to run, how long you would like Atera to retry until that device comes back online. So you can set that up for the amount of time that you prefer. Let's go ahead and find that default profile, and we're going to take a look at it together. Okay, The left-hand side is, of course, the information about the threshold profile, its name, whether or not it is active, when it was created, and when it was last modified. The last modification date reflects when you changed any of the automation tasks. The execution time and the next execution time is dictated by the scheduler. You can add a schedule just by clicking on, you can schedule your automation profiles just by clicking on add schedule. Select your frequency, one time or reoccurring, and don't forget to save your changes for that to go ahead and go into effect. You can generate an email to be notified when an automation profile is triggered. This can also go to your technicians. This can go also to your end users, to your customers, notifying them that an automation has happened, and then they're aware that your work, that you're doing your job. Some of the tasks, of course, let's take a look at what we can automate using the patch management and IT automation profiles. So first and foremost is our patch management. We have our OS patches. We can install all Windows patches at the same time. We encourage you to break it down to your critical and your securities separately. If you have a question, you can, of course, add that in. I see that you're raising a hand, so just type that in over at in the chat, and I will answer that for you. We encourage you to have your critical updates and your security updates separate from all of your other patches. That way there's no conflict and there's nothing that will accidentally not install, as your critical and your security updates have a reboot requirement. So definitely have that selected for that. Everything else can run separately, and just keeping your success rate at a high, and no accidental problems or issues. You can choose to turn on or off local Windows updates. Atera gets its Windows patches from the WUA API. Not every single patch that Windows makes available is available in that server for a number of different reasons. But it can lead to some irritation if your customer sees that there's an update on their computer, but Atera is not showing you any update for that device. That could be something that is more associated with a specific region or language. So those kind of updates can lead to questions. So you can go ahead and disable that if you want to avoid that, enable that, or leave it as the end user's settings. The end user does have the ability to override this selection. For your Mac updates, you of course have your Mac updates option over here. You can exclude patches for the individual profile. You have that option over here as well. Atera offers third-party software patch management for free, included on all 3 tiers. You don't have anything to worry about. The only prerequisite for this to work is that the software is installed from Chocolatey or from Homebrew for your PCs or for your Windows and Macs. If the software is not available in Chocolatey or Homebrew, you can, of course, install it using a script, and all of that can be automated as well. Speaking of software, you can create software bundles to speed up onboarding new customers. So if you have a customer with a specific software requirement, you can go ahead and create a software bundle, and then just install this on run this profile on every newly installed Atera agent, and then that software is installed for you. Again, saving you time and energy. You don't have anything to worry about. Upgrading Windows to the latest build, you can do that from here as well. Disk management and maintenance. As I mentioned, the reboot, if needed, should only be selected for, or what we encourage, should only be selected for critical updates and for security updates. For everything else, you can just have a reboot patch profile that runs just to reboot devices. It can have it run outside of working hours. Let's say Saturday mornings, 3 a.m. Most people are either out celebrating or sleeping, but definitely not working. Attach your scripts. Again, you have that shared script library. Put it to use to help you with your day. You can run profiles automatically. You can preset schedule profiles to run, or you can run them one time right away. Here you have access to our scripts and our SNMP templates. We do have a shared SNMP template library as well. So if you don't, instead of having to go to Google or getting in touch with manufacturers to find OIDs, you have that option over here to find all of that information. So just search by description or by device type. let's say a switch, here's the OIDs that I would want to monitor for that switch. Some of our RMM reports, they're all available over here. So we have our alert related reports, customer or agent health. The auditor report is the probably the most granular software hardware information for specific customers. It includes all of those new Bs that I mentioned earlier. So BitLocker, BIOS, and battery information will be included there. Microsoft licensing report, patch search and deploy. This is probably one of our more popular reports. And I'll show you guys why in just a second. You can filter out by specific customers, by specific patch types or agent types. I'm going to go ahead and pull this for everyone. Here you can see all of the available patches or all of the patches within Atera, 265 total. Of those, 223 are installed. I can see the devices that those patches are installed on, as well as not installed, and then installed directly from the report. This is really cool. This is really cool and important for, like, for example, when you're onboarding a new customer, you want to see that their devices are either either up to date in their patches, or B, don't have malicious patches accidentally installed. So you can find that based on this report. As I mentioned, reports can be exported. So there you go. That was where you would export that. Once you find a device that you have a patch, a malicious patch installed on, you can go ahead and remove that patch. Patch status summary. This is, of course, a breakdown of the automation profiles and how they, the patch automation summary is the devices that have available patches that are not installed. The patch automation feedback is the report that you want to pull to see that the automation profiles are running as expected and their success rate. Software inventory will give you a breakdown of all of the software installed for all of the devices. You can uninstall software directly from here as long as silent uninstall is supported. Let's see, what else do we have to go through? We went through our roles and restrictions, as I mentioned earlier. So you can create roles for your technicians. You can also assign customers to specific roles. So if you have a customer with an on-site IT department, you can purchase a license just for them, restrict them to their own organization, and then avoid any sensitive information becoming exposed, or conflicts or things like that. I think that covers everything there is to cover in our walkthrough webinar. If there are any other questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you guys. Before we finish off, I will just point out where we have our feature boards. If you go to the account dropdown, this is where we would like to hear from you in terms of features that you would like to see added, integrations that you would like to see from our marketplace. A full breakdown of the add-ons that we have are available over here: Acronis, Axion, Bitdefender, MCSoft, IronScales, Malwarebytes, Acronis for backup and WebRoot. We have more in the pipeline. A lot more cool things are coming. I will just point out that Malwarebytes doesn't offer, if you go directly through Malwarebytes, they don't offer bulk deployment. Atera can deploy Malwarebytes to all of your devices from the device page. So if you go to devices and click on, oh, actually totally forgot to finish up with this page. You have your select all option over here. I'm so sorry. Run scripts, assign profiles, software installation, and threshold profiles, as well as deploying Bitdefender, Malwarebytes, Acronis, WebRoot. All of that is available from here. So yeah, find your devices. You can filter out by specific devices and then install for all of those. Here you can see the alerts that are being triggered by the threshold profiles, and of course the available patches. If a device is online, just click on manage patches, and go ahead and let it load. This is taking an extra second to load. Why is it taking so long? I mean, it is checking live to see that all the patches are in fact up to date. Usually takes, maybe I have something running in the background that's slowing down my computer. That's possible. Dirk is asking, can you tell us a bit more about software distribution by means of Chocolatey? Yeah, Chocolatey is a public repository of software that we are integrated with. They have pretty much every software that you can possibly need. So if you head over, I'm not sure why that's taking so long. I don't like that it's that was just sitting there waiting and going. I'm going to look into why my computer is running a little bit slower. So let's head over to our patch management really quickly, and I will show you guys Chocolatey. So here, if I go ahead and select a software to install, I'm going to create a new bundle. So let's say for Windows. I give the bundle a name. I search for software. Let's say Google Chrome. Here's all of the software that is available in Chocolatey that has to do with Chrome. If there's more specific, something like, oh, I can't install games. Okay. Basically, you can search for that software and then select it to be added in. For more information about Chocolatey and Homebrew, you have the little tooltip over here. So just click on Learn More, and you will be redirected to the Atera support KB regarding software patching. I will make a note that there is actually a list of software that we will patch regardless of where it's installed from. Things like Adobe, Dropbox, Google Chrome, Java, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Skype. These things will be patched regardless of where you install from. All of the other software must be installed from Chocolatey or from Homebrew. And again, if they don't exist, you can install them via script, and you can patch them via script as well. No problem. Happy to help. Anonymous is asking, is there a way to see the BitLocker key? So if you go to a device, let's see, this device I think had BitLocker. So the BitLocker protection. I'm wondering if in the auditor report we have the BitLocker key. And it's very possible that we don't have the key just yet, and it will be available in one of our future releases. I'm gonna have to take that up with the technical team, or you can take it up with the technical live chat. Actually, let's see if I can find it really quickly while I have you guys all over here. So here we have, this is the release notes when we released BitLocker, as I mentioned, the 3 Bs. You could just see the protection status at the moment. We can't see the, oh, you could see the BitLocker key in the agent. Here we go. Ah, that's where you would see it. Okay, I didn't think to look over here. Interesting. It's because it's off. That's why I can't see it. Yeah, you would have the BitLocker key available under the device information. Let's see if I have something else that maybe has BitLocker installed on. Let's see if Linux. No, that's Linux agent. This DC. Again, this is turned off. I'm not sure if I have a device with BitLocker added. Nope. I'm going one by one. Let's see, this device also no. But it will be available under the agent information over there based on this KB. So there you go. I did find that quickly without having to go to live technical team. If there are any more questions, I'll be more than happy to answer. If not, I want to thank you all for taking the time to join us today in this live walkthrough. If you have any further questions, reach out to our technical team 24 hours a day. For any account or billing questions, reach out to your account managers and your customer success managers, success@atera.com. We are all available, ready to answer all of your questions. Have yourselves a great morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're located around the world. Again, thank you so much and have a great one. Bye-bye.